The best of all monopoly profits is a quiet life. Sir John Richard Hicks. One might naturally assume that to live as a homemaker means you will enjoy a quiet life. But the truth is, a quiet life at home must be cultivated through hard work. There has likely never been more noise in any given time period than there is right now. And we are, in a sense, the guinea pigs of this information age. The ability to know what's going on across the world at any given moment is something our ancestors just couldn't do. Now, with the swipe of a screen, we can intake more data than most societies in history would have ingested in a lifetime. This is life in 2025. And though it has its great benefits, we as homemakers must work hard if we want to establish and maintain a quiet and peaceful life at home. Now, it might look like turning off the news or your favorite social platform for a season. It might mean saying no to the myriad of opportunities that lay before you. But beyond this, how else might we work to establish a quiet life at home? I like to remember two things when I am working towards a quiet life at home: contentment and surrender. Now, godliness with contentment is great gain, so it says in 1 Timothy. And various social platforms are wired to stir up discontent in our hearts so that we no longer have peace and happiness over our current belongings. We are encouraged to want more, bigger, better, faster, newer. I encourage you, as I encourage myself, to turn off whatever it is that is tempting your heart to want what you don't have. Upgrades and new things, of course, aren't wrong, but we all know the difference between a discontented heart and one that is willing to be satisfied with the current state of things. When I start to feel the gnawing bite of discontentment, my heart and my home life immediately lose their quietness. Things get complicated and out of order, and because oftentimes the mother is the heart of the home, we must set the stage for happiness in this domain by being content with what we have. And with God's help, it's entirely possible. The next thing I focus on is surrender. Elizabeth Elliot reminds us that a willing acceptance of all that God assigns and a glad surrender of all that I am and have constitute the key to receiving the gift of a quiet heart. Whenever I have balked, the quietness goes. It is restored and life immeasurably simplified when I have trusted and obeyed. In other words, when we are willing to surrender our own selfish, self-gratifying desires and lay our lives down for the good of our families, a shift in the home environment happens. Those within feel loved and cared for. And as homemakers, we feel joy. Christ said it's better to give than to receive, and I have found this to be incredibly true in my own home life. When we act like grown-ups instead of like toddlers, our lives at home can be filled with peace and quiet. The arguments lessen as we strive to do all things out of love for others and devotion to Christ. The book of James and the Holy Scriptures remind us what causes quarrels and fights among us, and it's this: that our own selfish desires and passions are at war within us. When we lay down our lives for those in our midst, joy abounds. That's all I have for you today, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me on today's homemaking video, and I do hope that it was a help and encouragement to you. May God bless you and yours. Until next time, goodbye for now.